where will Punch get a champion? Because right now we feel like he's got 3 big ones. Hard to have 3 jungle bans against a team.
It's beginning to become increasingly hard to ban against DWG Gaming when you consider all the picks that they can pop off on. They banned Yasuo in game number 1 against Showmaker, but then the Jace goes through in first pick. So certainly some stuff for Hanwha Life to think about, especially with the side swap.
That's why we thought Noguri would retain his spot, because if Noguri, Showmaker, Punch, Nuclear, and Hoyt are at full flight, it becomes a pick your poison like it is against the top teams where you can't ban everyone, right? You run out of bans very quickly, even though we have 5 compared to the 3 we had years ago. So because of that, DWG at full strength, which I don't think we'll see in spring. I think that's a full year experiment. Should be outstanding. I think Coach Kim Jung-soo probably agrees with the fact that he came over from IG and knows they're building towards something, but doesn't mean they're building towards something soon. And already, the quandary we raised is over. A blue side Jace ban, to me, suggests a blue side Vlad first pick. If that is available, could be banned by DAMWON. For now, at least, though, it's just going to be Songyun's Kalista.
So they banned Yorick and Kalista on blue, but then they also snuck in an Olaf at second ban. But maybe you don't get the freedom to do that on red side because you don't want the Vlad to sneak in to the top side, which means that maybe Bono gets to reach for that Olaf. So some interesting things to think about.
To me, I agree. Lesser of the evils is leaving the Olaf open. A lot of things to ban, though. Thinking back to the first series, Vladimir, of course, like we mentioned, available at this point. So the Olaf, is it just going to be wheeled out there? The answer is, like we mentioned, with the Vladimir and Tal being the resident Vladimir player on Hanwha Life, Olaf is open. Would probably need to be first picked. It is one that Punch goes to, but there's no guarantee Punch would lock it in. Definitely feel more likely to steal it away when you see a Lissandra, given the power of Ragnarok against Lissandra's kit.
Surely, and it wasn't picked in game number 1. It was banned in the second phase because both teams had yet to pick their mid laner, as there was other priority. Punch looked good on the Gragas.
But it's scary. It's scary to go Lee Sin into what you would assume is Lissandra Olaf. He's going to do it anyway. He is undefeated. He's 100% champion itself at 57%, 4-0, with some of the cleanest Lee Sin you could ever ask for. I love the rise in the first round. Good into Lissandra. Showmaker and Noguri are both amazing Vladimir players. Noguri especially is otherworldly on a champion that is often an abuse case at the highest skill level, but unusable at the lowest. This is a godly picks in terms of the players who can play them, but how does it all come together in the 5v5 or as the champion pool goes along might actually be interesting to see. So Hanwha Life, I think Olaf is a slam dunk here, for now at least, not mousing over.
Would be interesting to prioritize a support, let's say, or something else before the Olaf, as certainly DWG could just target an Olaf and something else, as they're even gonna skip over it. Just go straight for the Rek'Sai into the good Lee Sin matchup.
Seeing the hover here, this would give away solo lanes for DAMWON Gaming. They don't care, they're doing it anyway. They take Zoe, which as we know has precious few bad matchups, and they're probably gonna say Noguri's Rise, fine blind against any champion, and from there, just ban away Zoe matchups. That's how I would approach it if I'm DWG Gaming. You think about what beats Rise, and you think of mid lane champions like Vel'Koz, right? That's a big champion that works into the Rise. But Zoe matchups, you think LeBlanc's skill matchup, you think also into something like the Aurelia mid. So Aurelia going to be banned away. It's probably just going to be Lissandra Zoe, of course, but Tal is another player like Rascal who could be playing top lane Lissandra, so we're just thinking about next levels, and DWG Gaming are just doing some protection.
I like that this middle of the pack matchup here in LCK does bring us to the next level. It seems like as Spring Split has matured, so has the teams, and it's good to see that they know their stuff coming in here, and you can see that pop up.
What is the second ban here is an interesting quandary. But DAMWON just going to ignore solo lane matchups. They don't care if Lava plays his LeBlanc and Lissandra goes top lane. I guess they trust Ryze in extended laning phase to outscale that Lissandra. But in the early game, Rek'Sai, Lissandra against Ryze. There's a lot to like. Even the Lucian, right, is there. 2 bot lane bans expected against DAMWON Gaming, and it's the Hoyt's Rakan that he hasn't been able to return to for a long time. Banned away on patch 9.5 with the Rakan buffs. The Braum is locked in. The flexes continue. And now we find out what the call is for Hanwha Life. They need to lock in their identity. So far, it's we win this game in the early game. We can't go much stronger early game champions. So how about an early game powerhouse?
Thinking about what they're going to put down in the bottom lane alongside with the Lucian. You'd have to imagine it's the Lucian.
Yep. No guarantee. But
no
likely.
guarantee, but how about a Bard? Keep picking it up a lot nowadays. He's the only person to play it. He's a 1-1. That percentage, the 50% you saw there is all key. And Lava, that swap you were thinking about, the flex, could come true as he is hovering the LeBlanc.
It gives you a lot early, but this is so all in. Go early or go home. They're going to do it. I don't mind the read. There's very much good matchups. Even though mid lane is one that Zoe's been winning, Lava's LeBlanc deserves respect, and Lissandra will push in Ryze early. DAMWON Gaming need an AD carry. Nuclear plays a lot of Vayne and solo queue. Ezreal would be the champion that doesn't work for DAMWON Gaming, but would be the safe choice. He says, I'm gonna farm from 1,000 range, and in Nuggery's Ryze and Showmaker's Zoe, I trust.
Really interesting if they do get ahead and they get a Baron, DAMWON's comp is going to just loll all over Hanwha Life. But they do have to get there. I was looking at Ryze stats just because, you know, its win rate is pretty low here in the LCK. I think it's something like 36%, but Showmaker's 2-2 on the pick and Nuggery is 1-0. So it's not these two guys that are bringing down the percentage. They certainly know how to pick it up, and Nuggery had a fantastic performance on Jace, looking to replicate that on the Ryze.
In the late game, Nuggery will be able to side lane easily against both solo laners on the enemy team. The moment he gets his Mercs, his Overshield on his Seraphs, even a Banshee Veil, double magic damage dealers will die to him in long lanes as well. So even though it's not a pure outscale Vayne, Nico 3 tank lineup like Gen G, it is effective outscale. And you think about Lissandra pushing in Ryze, Rek'Sai jungling around strong lanes with CC. It is a god drop for a Rek'Sai. It is a god early game comp. But we feel like if the clock strikes 35, game's going to be all DAMWON Gaming. And if DAMWON Gaming get a snowball, maybe you rewrite that timer. So to me, all my eyes are on the blue team, or on Hanwha Life. You got the tools on paper, but putting paper to practice, sometimes it works out, sometimes it does not.
Once again, the responsibility on them to show up and actually get a win against DWG Gaming. They haven't been able to this season just yet. Is today the first time? We'll find out as we're going to hop onto the Rift for Game 2.
I got a big smile on my face, Valdez, because Nuggery's Ryze skin of choice is Zombie Ryze. And the reason why I find that hilarious is that Nuggery is a 4-lane first player. He has, in pro play in the Kesper Cup, died 11 times in a game that didn't go that long. He is known to zombie push when the team falls behind. He definitely is not a KDA player. He is about getting the most kills and deaths and trying to strive for those kills wherever possible. So at least he knows who he is, and that's a very important thing as a human being and a pro player. It takes a lot of people many years to work out who they are and be comfortable with that, and I take the Zombie Ryze to mean that Nuggery has worked himself out.
Well, he's still fiddling with his runes, at least. Hasn't fully figured that one out, as we're first going to take a look at Rek'Sai. Looks like cheap shot, zombie ward. You see a lot of zombie ward in Korea, even in solo queue, as it's still good after the nerf that it did receive, but Nuggery goes for the Arcane Comet. Thank you, observers, for listening. And, yeah, generally you see some Phase Rush, maybe Aftershock, and some hard matchups, but not a lot of Arcane Comet. A little bit different up here.
So what does this choice do? Is a Very obvious question to ask. How does Tal's winning trades look when he's trading and not just pushing the wave, Valdez? Well, he's getting close and personal, and then Rise is dying because he's squishy. However, if you stay out of aftershock range and just go for your E or W that are both targeted, you do way more damage with Comet. This is Noguri playing probably his best champion. He is just unbelievable on Rise when I've watched him in solo queue.
He's better on the Rise than Jace.
Yes. Jace has more potential, and I think he plays it to the full potential, but his top Rise compared to any other, he threads in autos I didn't even know are possible while maximizing his damage and pushing up the wave. Now, prone to getting ganked for sure, but in terms of his lane play, unbelievable. And that's why you see Bunch saying, I'm vertical jungling again, Noguri's going to win this game.
I like that idea, or he goes on to another champion that he's fantastic on, but also on one that can just harass you for days in the early game. And you mentioned the vertical jungling. There's Punch on the top side, Zoe's pushing it in, and they're sending everybody up to the top just to make sure that Noguri can do this.
If I am the coach of Hanwha Life and I'm VOD reviewing this series, let's assume they lose. The first thing I should realize, and I hope they do, I almost would want to confirm, is that they should not allow 2 games in a row of vertical jungling where Noguri gets to overextend in a good matchup. Yes, it's a priority matchup for Tal if he can push, but he can't because he knows he doesn't have a jungler, so he can't overextend. And if it's free damage from Comet Rise is going to win the trades easily. So that simple fact that the moment that you say, yeah, Noguri got a pretty good matchup to a great matchup and got vertical jungling, I'm like, oh, that's how they won. Like, that's too much to give a guy who can fall way behind in zombie push, as Zombie Rise is known to do. So, unfortunately, to me, that's unacceptable strategically, because that is where Noguri runs away with the game.
It's a great point, and hope that someone on Hanwha Life does figure that out. As, I mean, especially with all of the top laners we have in the LCK, you got to be careful about that. How about Hanwha Life trying to flex their early game? I like this. Stun goes on to Braum, but nice flash away, and teleport comes in. He nearly gonna die.
Here we go.
On the backside. Everybody's gonna come in. Concussive blows lands. Lava does have to get away. No Q will land onto him as Lava gonna take a magical journey to save his life.
Let us all put up our hands and solemnly swear we saw Punch miss a Q. That happened. It's the first time we've seen him miss a Q in about 5 Lee Sin games, but he did miss one. Trying to thread the needle in. They got a lot out of Noguri there that potentially could be returned to. Now, Bono may not have flash, but Tal has set up, and it'll be harder for Noguri to just dunk lane now that his flash was used for no kill.
Yeah. I do like, at least, that Hanwha Life said, well, we can't just sit back and take it this time around. We have this early game. Let's try to make use of it. They go down there. They do get a plate, not because of the dive, but...
And this is what you can do with the scenario that we said was unacceptable of why is Noguri allowed to do this is, well, you got more people bot side, go for the dive. But it's another time where, if you remember, the Vayne was hovered, the Ezreal was selected, and it's a Guardian Braum. So killing Guardian Braum, very tricky to do. There was no summon, a spell heal. The Ignite was used in a similar defensive capacity that a heal would have been. No kill is taken, but you really like what they did get, which is Noguri's flash, because it will not dissuade him from pushing. Once a zombie, always a zombie.
Yeah.
That's the Noguri way.
He'll do his thing. As Tal was also able to get a pretty good back. Got his 2 Dark Seals early. Allows him to have an extra amount of mana so he can sustain up against this pushing. Even more than the Rise, who, again, Noguri is using a lot of that to push in this lane as fast as possible.
Always love watching him in a pro game in this scenario because I'm waiting to see how many of those solo queue tendencies are subverted or enhanced. He put down a ward, which, you know, doesn't always do. It sounds like a backhanded compliment, but, you know, he's a creature of habit, is Noguri. Punch is here for the pretty predictable play. Maybe that's the problem with him in solo queue, is that his jungler isn't in his pocket, and probably always should be. If I was jungling and Noguri was on my team, I'd be setting up that 10 top side.
Makes a lot of sense. And, you know, that's part of what it seems like the coaches on DWG Gaming are trying to promote with a lot of the, okay, Flash coming in here. Noguri able to get into the pit. They do spot him, though. He is going to have to flash here. as he's not flashing just yet. He doesn't have his flash. Okay, down he goes. First blood. Gonna go the way of Bono. Nice try.
That's why I was laughing, because he couldn't get out. It was so funny. Yeah. Actually ended up being the right flash, even though he flashed and missed the ultimate. That Realm Warp was just too damn short. It wasn't a long alpaca. It was a very compact one. And the compact Realm Warp doesn't get him away. Almost 200 IQ, but sadly for him, just couldn't get out.
You hear Lissandra scream her ult.
I wonder if he was on the other circle, which I guess might have been compressed by terrain. Maybe there actually was nowhere to stand there. My first thought was he was hoping he got pushed over the wall. He wasn't. We've seen other Realm Warp plays where you can get pushed over the wall from interesting angles. It doesn't happen there. And
apparently, Tal said, "What is that?"
I think he was referring to the Realm Warp.
Yeah, and then he said, "Nice."
Wow, your Tal impression's pretty good. He does have a very deep voice.
Me and Tal, we go, we got that one thing in common.
I'd watch the buddy comedy Me and Tal, starring Brendan Valdez and Tuhal, the pro player.
It'll happen one day when we get the budget.
What would the buddy? I don't think it'd be a buddy cop show. What would your buddy vocation be with Tal?
It's always buddy cop, no?
No,
are there other options?
Yeah, you could be buddy doctors, I guess, sure.
How about buddy pro players?
Nah, I can't see it from you, Valdez. I've played with you, so no. I can't believe
wow.
that one. What's your next suggestion?
Does Tal play hockey? I mean, I could do that.
Yeah, I mean, he seems to have the exterior of someone who's
does kind of
hard
look
up
like
and ready to
player.
play hockey. I could see it.
At least an athlete,
Well, he is a professional athlete of the esports variety, so we have to give him his shout-outs there. You are not, Valdez.
Uh-huh.
You were talking about your AP Zac mid and support as recently as Series 1. Don't give me that, Valdez.
It's a thing. It works.
Oh, dear.
I've been playing this game for, 8 years now? Almost 9. I'll get there one day. Everybody has his time. Yeah, just people have different,
go on.
speeds at which they arrive at their time.
Well, you know what's a way to have a fast speed for a gank? It's a magical journey. But it seems like he will not be taking us on one. They see the enemy control ward, and so far, Naguri only died once in his flash, and has had some good wards. However, what about Punch?
Okay, get the slow, but that's not enough to get the kill. Naguri has his flash once again. Looks like they'll trade double flash for double flash and some pushing power in top.
And remember, they got the earlier spikes. They're trying to stop the scaling. I don't mind this bullying of the top lane. Yeah. The inevitable will still be the inevitable, but you want it to end before that fully takes control. And if Nuclear picks up a bit more farm and Lucian falls back, you probably don't care that much. It's not like 2 items plus matters so much for Songyun. So it's all about the timings here. Remember, we said 35 minutes, 10 minutes in. It's not going to plan for Hanwha Life, but it's not completely off plan like it was, say, for example, for Griffin in game number 2 against Genji.
Yeah, I mean, you already take a look at the CS in the top lane, which is the biggest difference. Lissandra, after all of that focus, is going to be ahead by probably about 15 or 14 after that wave does crash. And so doing quite well. Of course, the Zoe going to be doing pretty well in the mid lane so far.
Trade of objectives here is a down trade, and if you are preparing for DWG Gaming, I think the way you win, just like we were talking about the Noguri way, but if you're trying to win against DWG Gaming, it's one of those weird scenarios where if you could trade, say, Noguri getting 2 turret plates, Showmaker getting 2 turret plates, or 5 turret plates on Nuclear and 0 turret plates for Showmaker and Noguri, you take 5 turret plates for Nuclear. Nuclear's not a bad player, but the games where he's been on, champions like Vayne, hard carries where he's been the one who had the lead and had to close out the game with, those are the ones they pretty consistently haven't been able to close. So that's the kind of specific thing. So getting advantages around Nuclear's lane, especially on this Ezreal that right now he comes into this game, I believe, 3 and 6 on, I think that's the right trade to make. So this is pretty heads up so far in-game from Hanwha Life.
The bullying looking to continue up in the top side as...
Wait, me of Nuclear?
No. I know you were going to say me, but... No, Nuclear's fine. He's doing well. That's his Ezreal. I mean, his Ezreal doesn't have the highest win rate.
I actually really like him. He's a nice kid. I loved him on Sonic Boom. He's English, so we get to chat with him. But again,
he's definitely not English.
His English. I said not the fact that he is English. His English.
I see.
I understand that English is
by the way.
Englishman, by the way.
Yeah.
Something I can say with a straight face. I got the passport.
There you go.
People were complaining about no EU caster on World Final. I was there. I held up my British passport and a photo of my British father. We got it going. We got the synergy. And you know what Nuguri doesn't have? Many CS at this point.
It's all being denied. Oh, nice play there by Showmaker. Good read. As Nuguri is just playing around here. Not much else that he can do, just build up his tier.
His main objective right now is to not die and stack his tier, so it looks a bit comical, but
he's doing the right thing.
Exactly. 30 CS down, 35 CS down now, so the rich are getting richer. The win conditions are falling behind.
Making that sound a lot today for Showmaker.
Bard to me is, you know, the guy whose bark is way less than their bite. Someone who's like, oh yeah, but then like instantly folds. That's definitely Bard, because in lane, so oppressive with electrocute, walks up level 1, 300 damage, like, well, this sucks. But if you ever land a punch on him, he is squishy as can be.
Yeah. It's like a glass house, you know? Kind of just shatters into pieces if you throw anything back. And, yeah, I mean, he builds for Moby Boots nearly first after that support item. Finally getting some more health.
I got to enjoy Bards having their fun building Nashor's Tooth in my solo queue. Of course he lost.
Oh, nice.
He rolled around and did 300 damage quickly, then died, so it was pretty cool. Moby Boots, Magical Journey, gets you to the enemy faster, for good and for bad.
Looking to make plays and not be made a fool as they are in vision. And that means that Ki and Songyun going to play this one smart. And Hanwha Life going to look to trade and just punish Nuguri even more to push the top lane and deny him even more CS.
It's the right way to play. If you go Lissandra top, you focus on pushing, you focus on turret destruction. You've made this point many times, but because it's an Aftershock laner, he gets to go free into Demolish and push, push, push. So far, Hanwha Life, in game number 2, know which side their bread is buttered on. That is something to compliment them on, even if it might actually not get the inner turret as early as they might want. It's 2 autos away, and Tal kind of took a needless 2-3 turret autos.
Yeah. Would have been able to get that turret, but instead decided not to.
And it really matters. It may not regen, but setting up the wave and the enemy red side jungle to get those last 2 autos is actually very often more trouble than it's worth. Getting the turret plate information, and we talked about that game state you wouldn't want to trade. I'd take this trade 10 times out of 10 times if I was Hanwha Life.
Certainly like the idea. DWG Gaming, they picked up the first Drake. Kind of uneventfully, it was that Cloud. We do have Infernal coming in, and Shelly is going to be dropped a little bit early, so DWG can deal with Shelly and then prepare. But you can see that Hanwha purely using this to just get some vision around the Drake.
Well, the trade to get the Cloud Drake for Rift Herald, you take Rift Herald, but it was because of priority and also where they put their vision. So they actually have to fight for Infernal Vision. That's why you put down the Rift Herald. It's not to get the turret, as we could tell. It was LeBlanc needs a back, and we actually need more time to set up around an area we just haven't been able to explore, given how the game has gone so far. So while we can see it didn't have any real effect, they're not actually going to return with as many control wards as I expected either. Do they have a flank TP ward?
No.
You could say maybe below the Infernal, but that's the best they're going to get.
Yeah. Not much flanking as they're just going to let it go.
And it does get the inner turret. That's a little objective. We talked about how hard it is to get the vision to do this. You know they're all on the Infernal, so you do get the turret there. If they could get mid lane turret, that should be a huge win. But Showmaker and Punch are back as Bard, some playmaking incoming.
And then the rest of DWG show up.
But
they're like, oh, I'm sorry.
You're right, but it was still the correct play completely, because what if Braum went bot lane? Then you do get the kills there. So
yeah,
I think Hanwha Life were doing it right, but like you say, ends up not actually achieving it.
Hey, you gotta, you know, again, you're Bard. You gotta look for plays like that. And it was a nice idea.
To me, it's the essence of the plays that sometimes we criticize teams not for making. because there's definitely times where you're like, okay, it's not an 80-20 play. If Brahm's there, you look like an idiot. You just wasted your ult. But if Brahm's not there, you get a lot. Like, they get mid lane turret and a kill. So that's why you make those plays, because especially because the only cost is the ultimate, the Tempered Fate, that sometimes trolls the team. At the end of the day, it's a pretty low cost.
You were talking about ults that should be used more often, that maybe don't get used as often enough. Well, he's not going to want to do that. And speaking of flank wards, trying to get behind here, but Hoyt trying to be on top of this, will throw out an ult just to deny any plays from coming in. And the flank will not be successful.
Well played on both sides. The TP there looked good. The Braum ult was correctly used because, like you say, if you complete it, things go through. R's used liberally, but so far, I'm not lulling it either.
That's good. No need to lull. As
Tal wants more gold.
He likes his demolish in this game.
His mid game, we already know that we already said 35 minutes win condition for DWG. This is one of those games where, on time, he is going to be a monster. He's going to have Luden, Sorks, and Protobelt 320. So he's battle ready. And everyone explodes on the side of DWG when he shows up.
That they do. Only person that has the cleanse is Showmaker in the mid lane.
But still probably dies to 1 round of damage. Like, this is a lot of damage if you hit all the spells.
Yeah, if you can get on top of the Zoe and do that damage. As this is certainly a competitive game. I feel like either team could win from here.
That hitbox was weird. Tal actually got unlucky. We're not going to get a replay of it. If we get a replay of it, that's like when they flash into the Ash Arrow, even though you can clearly see the visual of the Ash Arrow missing.
Yeah. It's okay. He just, one paddle star and you have to go back home. So that's where he's going.
Said like a guy who doesn't play Zoe and doesn't like playing against Zoe.
True. Although I don't ban Zoe, I ban Vlad. Just like DWG Gaming did in game number 2, very intelligently.
So far, I got nothing bad to say about what either team has done. In game number 2, we had our issues with Hanwha Life's approach in game number 1, and they were summarily dismissed. But this one is there to be won by Hanwha Life. And perhaps the time is in 1 minute 45, because they don't want to give double Inferno to the scaling team, and their Lissandra is epically ready to go. We'll get Protobelt on this back. The only issue, she will not have a teleport available, so hopefully it's not an earnest gank like we saw from good old Kennen in our first series, which is a bit sad. If Lissandra finds her man, or even multiple men, they should definitely blow up.
That will be the case, but it all comes down to getting vision as well and making that angle happen.
My read is, if double Inferno goes to DWG, their win rate should be like 85% expectancy, because it's just helping their scaling come a bit earlier, right? So even though it's not a Baron, it does feel like a lot rides in the next minute.
This is the minute, guys. Get your clips ready, as we could have some fights here in just a moment. We got Nuggery up on the top side. He has that teleport advantage, so he'll be pushing there. Showmaker doesn't have one, but he's close enough in the bottom lane.
And it will take most of that minute for Ryze without all the ability power stacked up to kill this turret, and Lava's actually going to come up and dissuade. Lava is a quick champion, can just use W over walls, but doesn't have teleport. A bit of shenanigans. Always worth noting when you see Rotatos where the standing vision is on the Infernal. And right now, it is a small lead in vision to Hanwha Life, but no control wards from either side.
He got a couple scattered around, but nothing just yet.
Showmaker.
Okay, Showmaker gonna have to use his real flash, as that was definitely a mistake, and that's really big. Now they can try to engage onto him in future fights at this Infernal.
But the mistake was, actually we don't have the priority here we did for 21 minutes. So it's a change in priority necessitating a face check. That's what happened there. So that was caused by Hanwha Life clearing out the vision, making their lane choices, and now DWG Gaming got a very dark map to make this contest.
TP comes in as Ryze. Nuggery gonna be looking for that angle.
2,500.
Coming on in, that's gonna be a nice ult. Look at that damage go down onto Key and Tal. Oh, that Battlestar was so close. The Bard ultimate not gonna hit anybody, but down goes Key. As he doesn't exist, who will the Infernal go to? It will be Bono as Punch. A little bit too late on that one. Trouble Bubble comes in, and down will go Lissandra too. And oh boy, they're going in for it, but was it too far? As Nuguri gets popped and everybody's going down. Hanwha Life, they get Infernal, a triple kill to the LeBlanc. And maybe even Lee Sin goes down, but so many more kills after what was that Rise ultimate?
Nuguri just party warped them into their doom. Holy crap! They just got AoE'd to death by Lava and Sangyun. That was a bold Rise call. That was not the warp you wanted. The party warp, the party cast, definitely a party warp.
I mean, you got everybody in one place, so LeBlanc is like, okay, I'll press WR and I'll see you later.
You know, there aren't a lot of champions left in the game that control your teammates. I'm thinking Anivia, Tahm Kench sometimes. But you can get out of the Tahm Kench. The Realm Warp there is sometimes not what you want, and it started oh so well. They get the kill onto Key, who, after the ultimate was already low, they turn and get the one kill. Bono has control of the pit, and he gets the kill onto the Inferno. We were surprised by the Realm Warp, because we were focused on Tal and his gold lead being taken down. Yeah. Watch for the Realm Warp from Nuguri. It's a flanking one. They get it. They go into the backline, and then watch Lava, who just gets in there, and they just decimate them.
Speechless after that. Oh, how does that happen? Just teleports right on top of him, and now Lava, okay, playing with fire here. Nice ultimate. That's the clone coming on in once again. They're gonna get the Ezreal, and the Proto-Milk gets another. And oh man, after that last Realm Warp, it looks like Hanwha Life have eaten their Wheaties, and they're getting more and more kills.
And they're just getting meals. They're snowballing when they needed to. Pre-35. Maybe that gold lead will be extended with a Baron. There ain't no smite here. What can Showmaker do?
Ooh, close on that one. Showmaker looking to get the snipe, but the TP comes in.
They still have no vision. They don't know what it's at.
Yeah. Just throwing stuff into the dark and seeing what sticks, but nothing is.
Nope.
As the positioning is good from Hanwha, and the Baron is good from them as well. Two big fights into the objective, and Hanwha will win this early game. Can they win the game is the next question.
This is what they drafted for. This is what they get. And it was all manufactured by Hanwha Life. Yes, you are overextended to some degree, but it's not like it was super obvious. It's not like DAMWON Gaming initiated this. It's a nice flanking move from Tal. This is spreading your lead in a big way. There's no escape from Punch or any of the remaining members of DAMWON Gaming. Problem solving was required. The burden of execution was on Hanwha Life, and in game number one, that didn't seem to translate. In game number two, things are coming up Hanwha Life.
Great Tempered Fate there from Key to lock down Nuclear. And, well, everybody had taken so much more damage after that flank as well. And, I mean, plays like the Rise one we saw before, those are tilters. Those are ones that immediately get in your head and get you thinking, well, maybe we might lose this game, even though we seemed in a pretty good spot. As well, now they're trying to go through the jungle here against his Zoe. Again, nice mobility on the champions here from Hanwha Life, so they won't be punished.
Also remember, there could be some selection decisions to be made on if Flame or Canyon came in for game number 3, if we did indeed have a game number 3 that right now seems to be on the cards. DAMWON Gaming, this Realm Warp was a bit more intentional, but it's on to a Banshee Veil cleanse LeBlanc. It doesn't matter that it flashes down.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, DAMWON Gaming look a bit desperate.
That they do. Nuguri trying to make his next Realm Warp be the good one.
So we praised Nuguri's laning on Rise. We didn't talk about Realm Warps.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Realm Warps have left us something to be desired. Good job, Hanwha Life, isolating him, playing around him, and then making it about teamfight decisions that haven't gone the way of DAMWON. They also hit the Rift when they needed to. Hanwha Life have done almost everything perfect on a draft that could easily have gone oh so wrong. Now they continue to push in, the LeBlanc continues to push, and DAMWON Gaming at risk of being just completely annihilated across the map.
Certainly has that feel, as really it's just Showmaker that is quite fed, looking for the picks wherever he can. Tal takes a bunch of damage actually in the mid lane from that Zoe, so they're going to deny this push for now, but there's still a minute left, and will be hard to stop that. Tempered Fate will miss. Nuclear able to hop away from that one, and DWG actually doing a pretty good job of stopping this push.
Actually a really creative Realm Warp. It was intentionally missing the turret to get rid of nuclear and DPS down the turret during the Tempered Fate stasis. You don't see that very often, but Key is the Bard aficionado of all time when it comes to Korean players, for sure. Aframu would be another player who's known for plenty of Bard. Songyun and Key keep pushing up. This is the end of the Baron buff. They don't get any minion waves after this one.
They're going to be held at what looks like maybe only one inhibitor turret going down. Should be the mid lane. Going to the side of Tall, but you can see they're all quite low. Trying to make the best of the last of that Baron. And the Baron power play, as you guys can see, 3,000 into the pockets of Hanwha Life, who do enjoy a 6,000 gold lead overall.
But I wonder if they would consider this Baron play acceptable. And the reason why I asked that is they got one inhibitor turret, and yes, you got 3,000 gold, but we know that from this point on, the gold is better spent by DAMWON than Hanwha Life, so at some point, you're not getting as nice stuff with your gold. It's almost like a bad exchange rate for Hanwha Life as the game goes on. That doesn't hurt them at 27 as much, but what I'm trying to say is they couldn't get down 3 inhibitor turrets and then make it so the game closes a lot cleaner. Their siege is pretty poor. Lissandra, LeBlanc, Lucian.
So dead, mate. See you later. You're on a ward.
The ward there, very, very nicely done. The control ward down from Hanwha Life. They still need to act, and yep, second Baron. That's probably the closeout here. If they get the second Baron, that's a minute 43 away. It's going to take DWG multiple steps to even contest for Vision. That's their closeout, and of course, it's another Inferno.
Of course. What else would it be? As the Cloud is taken before the Elder could spawn on the next one. So they do buy themselves another Drake in this game. Hanwha going to be happy with the way they rolled.
Early game scaling team loves the high roll Drakes. Infernal Drake is the scaling Drake. Fountain also a headache. So, big disconnect between those timers. In fact, Baron buff duration expires around the time that Infernal is up. So, gonna be one objective at a time. That means that Hanwha Life can defend one area of the map, and DWG Gaming will have to predictably contest there. That's not something that at these gold values should be easy for DWG. So everything is coming together. Absolutely everything. Gonna need to take a super play, and we know Punch can do it on the Lee Sin, but so far, just like that first Sonic Wave, not all of them been hitting, and the Banshee Veil really does help to delay the impact of something like that.
Nuclear not gonna make the same mistake twice, as he will not be up in that lane. Doesn't want to get LeBlanc'd again.
Look at Bard's Vision score, 126. I'm not sure if Bard has some weird mechanics with Vision score. Given that he picks up stuff, there could always be some weird code. Let's assume he's been very on point at sweeping out Vision. Tal coming for a flank. He's going to kill someone real fast.
Looks like it will be a bunch of damage on a punch, and with a little bit of help from his friend Songyun, they pick up the jungler right before Baron.
Music to the ears. No one else would be as juicy being in melee range of a fed Lissandra than the enemy jungler. DWG Gaming slowly pushing Vision. No Baron checks. Realm Warp is going to check it. I believe. It looked like a Realm Warp. What is that? Oh, that's sorry. It's Magical Journey. They can check it with Realm Warp.
So, who's going to burst down the Baron? Question is, who's going to burst down DWG as everybody's coming in for the flank. Nice knock-up by Hoyt. Nice amount of damage here, too. That's 2 members already that do go down, but inevitably, Nuguri will be taken out on the backside, but they get two for 1, and they stop the Baron. Not half bad from DWG.
They may not be denying Baron boss, but like you say, Tal's dead. That should matter. LeBlanc is huge, too. And that there's not many people that can walk up to her. But a 2 for 2 in that scenario, or I guess 2 for 1, given that Lee Sin was already dead, is actually an out trade by DWG in a scenario where Hanwha Life should still have everything. Maybe the scaling's almost there. Lava.
Well, Hoyt caught roaming in the jungle, has a stopwatch. And it looks like Hanwha Life are actually going to respect that. As a bunch of poke damage already coming on in. Nuclear, he wants his revenge, punching in the back line. Can they kill him? Oh no, everything goes wide. And Songyun with the great escape, able to avoid DWG Gaming.
QSS timing to stop there being the lock-in effect there, and I think you can relentlessly pursue if you cleanse early. We'll get the replay on that one. DWG Gaming control the pit, though. Songyun can recall.
Oh, this is getting crazy, Papa.
Yep.
Redemption comes in, and will we have Bono get in range? He's coming in from behind.
No Tempered Fate to delay either.
Trying to kill Bono here. He's getting pretty low. Stopwatch though. And in goes Tall and Lava into the pit. And DWG Gaming are going to go down. And Bard is going to steal the Baron. A huge cheer from the audience. But DWG were already being routed in that fight. Can Nuclear go forward? It doesn't look like it. So Hanwha Life able to punish and get the Baron.
Did Key just get a double kill and Baron? Triple kill, basically? It was just the kill and Baron. My eyes lit up as everything came up. Bard in the scoreboard. Key's Bard, the DSM Slayer, suddenly the DAMWON Slayer. This was more weird and wonderful than Hanwha Life's coaching staff would have wanted. It starts off with Tal trying to open up space, but he actually doesn't get to ult in this play. He dies with ult available after the first Zonias. It's in trade for the enemy Rise, but it was a 2-for-1 special. But then DWG Gaming was behind the pit and all the AoE was available. We just didn't know how it would all go.
Oh man, Showmaker's Battlestar gets dodged and Bono stays alive. You can see Key bursts him down.
How does Key get the Baron?
How does he get it? We're slowing it down.
Let's find out. Auto. It was the meat on the auto.
And the early smite too from Punch. And Key's right there to swoop in and steal the Baron, of course. As you do. And, well, by the way, see you later. As Nuguri will not survive. That's his 5th death. As Lava's having fun on his LeBlanc.
And you know what the bad news story is, even further compounding bad news story, is that both solo laners picked up the Baron buff so they can still play 3 lanes. Maybe slightly disconnected, but 3 people pushing mid. And Lissandra and LeBlanc still have those Baron buffs. I think Hanwha Life have done enough, Valdez. Tricky. They knew their timings. They were able to follow them. Their alarm went off. They woke up. And that means we should be going to game number 3, barring one further shenanigan.
Props to DWG for trying some shenanigans there and doing well. But Hanwha Life played better in this series. And it looks like they should be able to pick up the win off of the back of that one. We'll see what DWG can do on the defense. But all 3 lanes pushing now. They don't have the super minions yet, but that's a lot of cannons. They're doing a whole hell of a lot of damage here.
Tempered Fate to split the fight. They only get Lee Sin.
Oh, in goes Lava too. Trying to come into this fight now. Key getting pretty low. Punch gonna back off here, and Tal nearly goes down as Nuguri trying to do the machine gun work, but in goes Songyun. That reliable AD carry is gonna stay alive, but DWG, they're gonna try to stop this, but in goes Bono is gonna last hit the Nexus. Then there you go, game 3 will be coming up next.
Just enough to get over the line, but even that last fight on the Baron Nexus, you understood, wait, they're less ahead than they think they are. The scaling was starting to come in, but it slapped away, and that grants us a game number 3. Hanwha Life Esports just too good, and just able to get their timings going. Now we're wondering, do we spot or spy with our little eyes any keyboards being packed up? Because the decision on roster specifically for DWG Gaming in game number 3 could be pivotal. It would be the return of Nuguri on blue side, but probably not the return of him picking up Jace.
You'd have to imagine that would be the case, as lots of happy fans and smiles on the side of Hanwha Life as they pick up their first win against DWG Gaming in 2019. So very big props to them that they draft a comp that's early, that they have to be proactive on, and they actually make it work against a good team. That's definitely a good sign for Hanwha Life.
We said early, they looked like they knew where their bread was buttered, and not every team has done that. I feel like a lot of corky drafts have fallen into some tough situations. Credit to Hanwha Life. You need to play a certain style with a draft like that. They did. Now, they got a big assist, the party warp, as we called the realm warp into the LeBlanc, and Lucian AoE was questionable, let's say. Bad is another way to put that one. And that was actually probably the one thing that DWG Gaming couldn't allow. If that didn't happen, if they didn't inject a bit of tempo, a bit of life back into Hanwha Life, no guarantee things would have come up Hanwha Life so succinctly. We're going to get some subs potentially in our next series. We hear there may be some changes. We'll leave you guys to find out as things go on. Maybe we'll reveal it with some keyboards being packed up. But things will change once again. What does that mean for the result in a must-win series for DWG Gaming and Hanwha Life?
I think I spot where that little realm warp came in. Right around where the mountain came in on that gold graph.
When you said little, I thought you were going to say little damage total, as the least damage in the game was Punch's Lee Sin on his first Lee Sin defeat.
Yeah, so kind of unfortunate for him. He did have that one try towards the end on the Lucian, but was not able to be effective enough in that game to carry DAMWON to that 2-0 victory. So that's one game score that could go either way. And Hanwha Life buy themselves a second ticket at potentially keeping their playoff hopes alive. So definitely well done from them. And this game 3 should be pretty intense, Papa.
Let's roll on that BO1. It comes back after the break.